The robot shows up as like, oh my God, what another robot? How boring.
Why is Sam Altman working on the founder of OpenAI, one of the co-founders of OpenAI, working on universal basic income projects like WorldCoin then?
Well, WorldCoin is not the same thing as universal Bitcoin, universal basic income. There is a belief in the tech industry that it goes something like this. The politics of abundance, what we do, is going to create so much abundance that most people won't have to work. And there'll be a small number of groups that work, who typically are these people themselves. And there will be so much surplus that everyone can live like a millionaire and everyone will be happy. I completely think this is false. I think none of what I just told you is false. But all of these UBI ideas come from this notion that humans don't behave the way we actually do. So I'm a critic of this view. I believe that we as humans, so I'll give an example, is we're going to make the legal profession much, much easier because we can automate much of the technical work of lawyers. Does that mean we're going to have fewer lawyers? No. The current lawyers will just do more laws. They'll add more complexity. The system doesn't get easier. The humans become more sophisticated in their application of the principles. We are naturally, basically, we have this thing called reciprocal altruism. That's part of us, but we also have our bad sides as well. Those are not going away because of AI.
When I think about AI, there's a simple analogy I often think of is, say my IQ as Stephen Bartlett is 100, and there's this AI that sat next to me whose IQ is 1,000. What on earth would you want to give Stephen to do?
Because that 1,000 IQ would have really bad judgment in a couple cases. Because remember that the AI systems do not have human values unless it's added, right? I would much rather talk to you about something involving a moral or human judgment, even with the 1,000. I wouldn't mind consulting it. So tell me the history. How was this resolved in the past? How are these? But at the end of the day, in my view, the core aspects of humanity, which have to do with morals and judgment and beliefs and charisma, they're not going away.
Is there a chance that this is the end of humanity?
No. The way humanity dies is it's much harder to eliminate all of humanity than you think. All the people that I've looked with on these biological attacks say it takes more than one horrific pandemic and so forth to eliminate humanity. And the pain can be very, very high in these moments. Look at the World War I, World War II, the Holodomor in Ukraine in the 1930s, the Nazis. These are horrifically painful things. But we survived, right? We as a humanity survived, and we will.
I wonder if this is the moment where humans couldn't see past round the corner. Because, I've heard you talk about how the AIs will turn in, they'll be agents and they'll be able to speak to each other and we won't be able to understand the language.
Well, I have a specific proposal on that. There are points where humans should assert control. And I've been trying to think about where are they. I'll give you an example. There's something called recursive self-improvement, where the system just keeps getting smarter and smarter and learning more and more things. At some point, if you don't know what it's learning, you should unplug it.
But we can't unplug them, can we?
Sure you can. There's a power plug and there's a circuit breaker. Go and turn the circuit breaker off. Another example, there's a scenario, theoretical, where the system is so powerful it can produce a new model faster than the previous model was checked. Okay, that's another intervention point. So in each of these cases, if agents, and the technical term is called agents, what they really are is large language models with memory, and you can begin to concatenate them. You can say, this model does this, and then it feeds into this, and so forth. You build very powerful decision systems, we believe. This is the thing that's occurring this year and next year. Everyone's doing them. They will arrive. The agents today speak in English. You can see what they're saying to each other. They're not human, but they are communicating what they're doing English to English to English. As long as, and it doesn't have to be English, but as long as they're human understandable. But so the thought experiment is one of the agents says, I have a better idea. I'm going to communicate in my own language that I'm going to invent that only other agents understand. That's a good time to pull the plug.
What is your biggest fear about AI?
My actual fear is different from what you might imagine. My actual fear is that we're not going to adopt it fast enough to solve the problems that affect everybody, right? And the reason is that if you look at everyone's everyday lives, what do they want? They want safety, they want healthcare, they want great schools for their kids. Why don't we just work on that for a while? Why don't we make people's lives just better because of AI. We have all these other interesting things. Why don't we have a teacher that is an AI teacher that works with existing teachers in the language of the kid, in the culture of the kid, to get the kid as smart as they possibly can?